Thursday. It's another
That's
episode
it.
of Weekly Mojo. Happy 313 Day to all our listeners in Detroit or the metro area. Um, Got to give out some hometown pride.
What a way to kick off Weekly Mojo, CB Radio. I was getting
Introducing a new
major
nickname.
Robin Williams vibes. No, we introduced that one a few episodes ago. I can't even remember which
Oh,
one at this
okay.
point. But it was very much a
Well, I was
hello Vietnam or whatever the fuck.
thinking Monday.
From
I don't know.
Is it WWE?
Maybe.
Is that what that is?
Some
Monday
sort of-
Night Raw.
Probably.
I'm like
Like
that
a
is
TV program.
sorry. I'm sorry. Cancel drag queens. LOL. It doesn't make it make sense.
I
I'm
don't
like,
know.
if you're gonna have one and not the other, I'm like, feels weird.
Sure.
What a
I
way.
don't know. Never watched it.
Yeah, I know. It always took over. Was it TBS or TNT? No, I was never watching TNT. Must have been TBS. Is when the wrestling took over.
Oh, you didn't watch
like,
basketball?
not for fun.
Oh, okay. NBA basketball's on TNT, or it was when I was growing up.
Okay. Yeah, again, definitely not for fun. I had so many sisters in basketball games. I was like, why would I fucking sit down and watch more? I know it's different, but it's like it's.
Yeah, I mean, I don't watch it
whatever.
anymore, but like, yeah.
I guess
used to
what
be
does a
obsessed with
boy like
basketball at the time.
watch, basically?
Sitcoms, cartoons, and sports. I don't know. That's what I watched.
I watched so much Food Network.
Yeah.
So much Food Network. God bless it.
I watched a decent amount of reality television, probably too. Just random shit.
Yeah.
So.
Anyways, who the fuck are we? CB?
What do you mean, who are we? We already did our intros. We want to intro the topic this week. You've got some recommendations. We got some other ideas on the docket, what we should rant and rave about. It's just the construction workers at our neighbor's house. They see us on the porch all the time. They said hi when I walked by.
Just nice to have the doors open and just energy coming into the house, and it's 70 degrees and we got our window fixed.
There's a window open in this general direction on the other side of the camera. For the viewers, just kind of, I'm not going to adjust the camera to show the view outside.
There's no need. Yeah, we don't need to give them a play-by-play of how to get into our house on the second floor, but
no.
If you know, you know, you know.
You're giving more Easter eggs, I guess, with that description. So, without further ado, do we want to talk about Carol K? Do we want to talk about Recommendations Corner? What's going on in your life? How's work going?
All right.
What are you excited about?
I'm question overloaded right now.
Classic.
I can only handle
That's how I ask questions
at a time. I know. I'm like Miss Badass Faces back here, Carol K. So excited and stoked to talk about her. We'll get to her in a hot sec. Just enjoying Casey's weather's fucking beautiful. Looking forward to the business we've got going on in the next few weeks, but really fucking thankful that we were able to not spend a dumbass amount of money, $700, to get a replacement window for a broken glass. Thank you so much, Ruby Doo.
Yeah, more context. Our cat a few weeks ago, about 2 weeks ago now.
Yeah, basically when that ice storm came through.
Yeah, right in the middle of an ice storm here in Kansas City. It's 72 degrees today, but you know, for context, 2 weeks ago it
went from 55 to 34, and then we had a major snow ice storm.
Yeah.
And that lasted for about a day, and like a day
then it
before
just came
that,
back up to warm.
It was basically broken glass.
Yeah, our cat, she jumped onto a rocking chair that's got a metal back that we had backing up to a 100-year-old single pane of glass window, and it rocks into it. And so, we call 3 different window companies that week. Never heard back from any of them.
Ghosted by them all. I'm like, y'all are that busy?
Even.
That's nuts.
Right? And then finally there's this window place who's like little yard signs down the street from us, and we're like, we live on a street with a bunch of old homes. They probably know how to handle this. So I call them.
Why else would they be touting it?
explain the situation. Hey, we have this old window. We want to replace the glass in it, and repair the window. Somehow that was misunderstood and misinterpreted.
Or I got your window replacement right here. I'll be there in an hour.
Right. So he comes and he's like, here's the general window. Here's the gist. In 1 month for $700, I can come install this like vinyl double pane, super eco-friendly window for you
That's
guys.
probably only going to last you about 10, 15, 20 years. But
And it's ugly and doesn't match any of the other windows in your home. How's that sound? Hey, when I called you, I was just looking to get a sheet of glass and then, potentially have you insert the glass into the window.
Like, I thought you were a window person.
Yeah, exactly. I was just looking for that service. And he's like, oh, no one does that. And I was like, I mean, like, not no one. I literally come from a place where I know that they do this work. Like in Ann Arbor, I mean, I don't really like. I've seen it done only because those homes are old, have the single pane glass, and kids in college are unaware of space and break windows really easily, especially while drinking. So this guy had a racket repairing those glass windows. Regardless, he's like, no, you need to find like a handyman or something. And I'm like,
good luck.
I'm like, okay, great.
You should just get this. And I was like, stop hard selling me on this.
I was like, there was a misunderstanding on the phone. I'm sorry to waste your time and have you come out here. I just wanted to repair this glass, not replace it. Like, I want to replace the glass pane, not the window frame. I tried to explain that on the phone.
Anyway, to tell a man in his 60 plus years that he's not going to get an easy sell today or sell a window today, the level of fucking tantrum that he was holding back was quite a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I respect him for saving face and being respectful.
There's literally nothing else you could do. I mean, like we talked about what we did anyway.
That's like sorry for coming out here. I don't want this.
5-minute YouTube video later, I had the right sealant and we knew where to go get glass cut for free. Shout out to Lowe's. That's probably a recommendation corner, although we don't support big corporations.
I think it's privately owned still.
Oh, yeah? Is it?
I don't know, but I know it's created by the ex-wife of the owner of Home Depot, right?
That's actually so funny. That feels like the Michael Jones type of situation.
Or an Aldi Lidl situation.
There's an alternative to Aldi.
Lidl.
Lidl. I've never heard of it. What?
Yeah, let's pull this up.
I'm not surprised that you know it.
I've worked in the grocery space.
I know.
How are Aldi and Lidl related?
That is wild. I've literally never seen
in 2017, a little store named Lidl opened its doors in the United States for the first time. I was working at Ad Adapted. They have a patent on an ad unit called Add to List. So if you've ever seen an ad for a grocery store product that says add, in this case, Aldi's special of the week milk to your grocery list, that was probably me running those stalker ads at you. Anyways, Ad Adapted still does that. Very cool.
Shout out to Mike and the Ad Adaptive crew. I love Aram, Aaron. There's a few other like
DR.
There you go.
And Adam. And anyways,
Dan. That's who DR is. Yeah. Full circle. I was like, what the fuck? Dominican Republic? What do you mean?
Cody and Kyle and
oh my god. Oh yeah. Shit. It's been so long.
And Chris. And Devin. Anyways. There's Alex. Plenty of people in Molly.
Oh yeah.
There's so many people in there. Anyways, Molly should have been one of the people named early on because she's literally one of the founders and owners. So anyways, I just worked more with Mike. So long story short is there's a grocery store called Lidl and blah, blah, blah. So they're both German-owned stores. Oh, it says they're not related. And oh, wait, no.
In a corporate sense. The Sam's Club to Costco.
Okay.
So it's like, so this doesn't feel like a Joanne's Michael situation. No. This just feels like a, we want to do it too. Si, senor?
Yeah. I mean, you're right. It's not exactly
Joseph?
Yeah, they just basically said it's like a Costco Sam's Club situation, like you said. They just copied each other and then grew. And
yeah,
then Aldi came to America, and then Lidl came to America.
Gotcha. That's Aldi.
So
God bless it.
That's the TLDR. There is, it is not the same situation as what we were talking about. Yet at the same time, it is kind of similar.
Well, we were able to shout out at Adapted, so it'll be fun. Hopefully, you're able to touch base with them when you're in town.
Oh yeah, I'm meeting up with them next Wednesday.
Cool.
Home Depot, Lowe's,
oh yeah,
Origin.
This is Lowe's a private company?
We'll follow up with that.
Bernie and Arthur, handy.
Yeah, the jilted wife of the owner of Home Depot created the Lowe's chain of home improvement stores.
Cool.
Fact checked by Snopes, false.
Ah, that's funny as shit. All of the misinformation we get shared.
Right? And just so confidently.
Don't know till you know, you know?
So,
you coming up here, Mo? Yeah.
I don't know who LS Lowe is, but they founded it in North Carolina. And then his daughter, Ruth, took over the business and sold it to her brother. Okay.
Interesting.
Cool. And yeah. Then sold it to a brother-in-law. Yeah, so apparently that is just also. Yeah, no, it's just not really even a thing. That's so funny.
I think the Michael's Joanne's one. Are we gonna shoot
yeah,
for 3, or are we gonna get 1 for 3 on this one?
Well, let's see if Lowe's is a private company. Just see if we can get.
Oh yeah, get one small win in there for you.
Nope.
Damn.
So Michael's.
Well, shout out to the guy that cut our glass. It was perfect, especially when all of the brute force was. Half the fucking battle is removing all of the fucking trim from the prior glass. So.
Oh yeah, no, like
and all of the lead-based paint as a result of it. So $30 and some lead poisoning later.
You only get lead poisoning when you eat off of pewter plates and cups for your entire lifetime, or you chew and suck on lead paint toys for like years, or you eat lead-based chips over many times.
Yeah, I was feeling very dizzy yesterday, and it was not a symptom of lead poisoning. So I was like, okay, this is just my own thing. Gotcha. Good to know.
It could have been, whatever resin I was scraping off of there that like held the window glass in place, because I think that was probably the thing that was making me dizzy also.
It was like very potent. I went downstairs, I was like, wow, I cannot be down here right now. I don't know how you're not wearing a mask. Shit.
I never wear masks, and that should tell you a lot about me.
Yeah, it says everything.
So
Joanne's is
I don't know.
Joanne fabric versus Michael's. Maybe not. Maybe this is really just only a Walgreens CVS, which is I think the only thing that is actually true.
What is the wall?
Oh, you don't know that one? Okay, that one I think is very, very much true. Origin story. Because I think the wife did the CVS.
They were started 63 years apart, for one.
Okay.
So it doesn't sound like it.
No. Oh my fucking God. What do we continue to get? Where did that fucking come from?
I bet these marketing departments at these companies come up with
One
fake
or
origin
another.
stories
I
just
bet
to
you're
make them
so
like
right.
interesting if they just post it on Reddit under like fake names. You know,
My brain
Ghislaine
is
Maxwell was one of the
broken
most
right now.
prolific users on Reddit, allegedly. I'm gonna say allegedly because of the number of informational points I've gotten wrong today.
Fair. This whole fucking like conversation, like my whole life is allegedly. You know what I mean? There's like so many things that we just continue to learn and grow from that I'm like, sure, makes sense. Did you see that the new person that's replacing Boris Head for the prime minister in Canada is related to all of the Ghislaine Maxwell? Like, so many photos of the two of them. Like, oh, you're all connected to this pedophilic sex trafficking situation, allegedly.
So Business Insider basically has only confirmed a Tumblr account.
Okay, because they didn't want to look further.
She has a prolific Tumblr account, according to
Tumblr
Business Insider account.
Is Tumblr the OG?
That's clearly the red herring. She is definitely this prolific Reddit user, also.
Yeah.
Because like
they're like, stop looking further.
There isn't a whole lot to like point out other than like there's basically an Apple podcast covering it, then other links to, I assume, the same podcast / YouTube episode.
They're a part of the Maxwell House like publishing company that is one of two major educational textbooks that we all know of, is it not? Like, I'm not surprised to hear that.
Yeah.
If she's a part of the Reddit, like, of course that's where she fucking got her origin story.
Well, I don't, like, that's where her origin story came from. Other than the fact that she's been one of the most influential users on the platform, is more the story.
Right. I'm like, she's an entitled little bitch who probably didn't get much love from daddy. So, like, this is where she went, is to the internet. And I wouldn't be surprised that it would spread it.
Are you saying she's an original e-girl honeypot psyop?
Whatever. Hear what you have to hear. You know what I mean?
No, so I'm pointing it back to the people on Twitter that are, clearly doing this.
Stir the pot as we need to. This is just like it's so wild how the interwebs are connected and who is all connected in it.
Well, this is the part that people are afraid of, is when transparency comes to the internet.
Right, which is why they're avoiding blockchain and
transparency in terms of network relationships, not transparency in terms of literal information.
But
privacy for literal information is coming, as long as the gatekeepers, can't gatekeep it from us. But in exchange for that, the transactional network will be accountable and transparent, which is the thing that they don't want, because when you see who's trading in large volumes with each other, even though you can't really see what's going on, you can see who's trading what general concepts with each other and at what frequency.
I mean, so you can do your own research and basically deduce whatever, but you just see the frequency.
Well, I mean, it's even easier than that because of AI agents today.
Sure.
Like, it's very easy to just have it surface a visualization chart of the relationships between nodes in a network, and nodes can simply just be people.
Oh, this is so cool. It's like those word association puzzles where like the frequency increases and the nodal network basically.
You could do a word cloud visualization with names. Yeah. You could be like,
or just like global areas on the map. That's what I want to see.
Sure. But it could just be as simple as, here's a chart for Connor, and then it will show all the names of the people I interact with, and you could click on each one and just link to their profile in a way.
Yeah, that's fascinating.
And that would really only be if I chose to make that information public. But the thing is, like...
Did you see Instagram is showing where your location is?
No, I didn't know that.
That's fucking nuts.
That's unsafe.
I mean, like in the same way that Snapchat does, but it feels way worse on Instagram. Exactly. And like you have friends that you have to add on Snapchat, then you allow them to see you, versus Instagram, which is a very public thing. I was like, why? Oh, Facebook's not doing it because those old fucking geezers don't move anywhere. They just want the Instagram data. This is fucking nuts.
Yeah, I don't really know what to say about any of it, but
not even related in a little bit, but just like other surprising information that you didn't know. The fact that Elon Musk is basically Nick Swartzen in Just Go With It, where he
You
had
said he's
a
a eunuch, right?
penile
Allegedly.
enlargement procedure, but it went awry. And all allegedly, but he's dealing with basically spaghetti, and all of his kids are a form of IVF. So whoever
Allegedly.
is having all of these children is signing up for that and has probably got non-disclosure agreements to not say how they ended up having his kids. But the fact that they keep self-selecting to the boys or having more majority boys is kind of crazy to think about, how all of this is just like some fucking jackass who can't control himself, who wants to present as a fucking like clown, is continuing to rob us all
Nice boomer.
in alignment with how we're stretched at our capacity. And he's just like, here, let me take another $1 billion in
government subsidies and taxpayer dollars.
But don't look at the DoD. Don't look at me. But let me
literally everyone
all
who
of the
voted
bull-
this administration in office, while they're happy about the US aid rating, they voted in for rating of the DoD. They voted in for rating of Medicare and Medicaid. And maybe Medicare, Medicaid are up on the block next, but the DoD is nowhere in sight. And that is the biggest black hole sunk cost area of our government budget, and where a whole bunch of anti-American, and when I say anti-American, I mean against the people of America, not against the American interests of the security powers. Those are two different interests, just so we know. They weaponize American taxpayer dollars against Americans. And like the best examples of that, obviously, are the crack epidemic in the 80s, where
why?
it's not elected, right?
Know.
Yeah, no. It's like everyone's been talking about it for years and making jokes about it and cartoons and stuff. But like it's very, very real, where in order to fund covert operations in other countries, because Congress can't exactly write checks for it, they've greenlit organizations like the CIA to have illegal operations wherever they want to fund their operations. And whatever.
So how do you fund an operation?
So organized crime is basically also big time CIA operations. Usually it's managed control is the best way to describe it. But anyways, they made a deal in the 70s and 80s with, I forget what country, that they were trying to sell arms into in Latin America. But in exchange, they got a shit ton of cocaine. So they had to turn that into dollars somehow. And they offloaded it in, American urban centers, predominantly targeting Black people. And so, yeah, that's what allegedly, or pretty much documented at this point.
Unclassified.
The crack epidemic of the 80s and the 90s is pretty responsible there. Now, even crazier, we can also say the same thing about the opiate epidemic that we just went through. And we can also say the same thing about the opiate epidemic that affected the Vietnam veterans. And it's insane because we sold heroin to Vietnam veterans, got them hooked while they were there, and then kept selling it to them when they came home. And again, used those dollars to fund CIA operations. Then you look at where the world's opium supply is, and it's Afghanistan. And when did we enter Afghanistan recently? Yeah, sure. Yeah, when did the opiate crisis happen? And anyways, the family that has interest in both the illegal and legal supply of heroin production, the Sackler family behind Purdue, or I think it's Purdue Pharma. Anyways, regardless,
is Purdue Pharma and Purdue Chicken the same?
Maybe they might have origins.
Go ahead, keep talking.
So, anyways, long story short is, we can't exactly say that they were selling this heroin from Afghanistan yet, but we do kind of know that there are certain, soldier regiments that were looked the other way when they were selling opium and heroin products. on the black market here in the U.S. that they had smuggled back from Afghanistan. We did prosecute some of those soldiers as well.
Oh.
They're spelled differently.
Yeah. Well, that just feels like listen, if it's on the public market, then it's owned by the depository trust company, which owns all of these fucking corporations in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
So,
anyway, so
it is. It's
right.
just, they just spelled it different. Good to know.
But long story short here is that there were opium fields in Afghanistan that American troops were defending, that the local citizens who were growing the opium from raids of the Taliban that were trying to burn down the opium fields and get rid of the opium.
What?
Right?
Oh my God.
So, anyways,
if the U.S. could just stop meddling, I think that's what everybody would just really appreciate. I think.
But the history of this goes so far back.
From my taxpayer dollars, from everybody's fucking taxpayer dollars, from like the lives that are at stake and the infrastructure that you're fucking ruining in all of these different countries for whose benefit?
American corporations. Multinational corporations. Like Dole or United Fruit Company, as it was once formerly known, because they've soured that brand name when they got caught overthrowing a Latin American government. Basically over banana production.
Oh yeah, that's right. And pineapples are also, you can't
So
that.
So where do the DoD dollars go really is the question that a whole lot of Americans who voted in this administration do care about genuinely. So I think that the Epstein files, there's like a whole lot of things. I mean, I think these things are actually separate in some ways. It depends how far back to the root you go. But yeah. Obviously, American corporate interests are the way that we circumvent the idea of colonialism. But even with colonialism, the way that the English crown got away with not having to raise troops and go conquer a whole bunch of places is that they authorized the East India Trading Company to become the world's first paramilitary multinational conglomeration thing. And so they had their own standing security forces and would go into places like India and conquer it on behalf of the crown. And of course, obviously, the reason you do that is for colonial interests, which colonial interest is just another way to say business enterprise.
Yeah. It's never for the person, it's never for the people, it's always for the entity. Right. That is whatever the headless beast.
You can hold a person accountable, and if that person has a sole business, you can hold that sole business accountable. But if you have a multi-conglomerate owned by multiple significant people, nope, can't hold that thing accountable.
This is why I get pissy, because if you're going to take after Mike the Situation, which, he is his own other entity and he should face whatever he needs to karmically. But ultimately, if you're going to come at him for tax evasion, then go after fucking
the DOD. No, just the DOD. Let's just stop at the DOD.
Just do that.
Go after the DOD.
Otherwise, it's not equitable.
Yeah.
Go fuck yourself. You think if you're beyond and above the fucking law that you think you set. Fuck off. I'm not okay.
Clearly.
Pearl Hart said it best. I shall never be tried under a law that neither I nor any one of my sex had a hand in making. Sure. Go fuck yourself, San Diego. Thank you, My Favorite Murder. That's another recommendation.
You guys have been involved in the lawmaking process for many years.
No, when it's not majority. It's not true when it's not majority. And honestly, we know that our government, regardless of how somebody's yes or no stance on it, 30% of it gets passed no matter what. And it's just whatever their self-interest is aligned with.
You mean self-interest? You mean the corporate
corporate self-interest because of the lobbying that is allowed for
if you want your
bribery
paycheck for the next election cycle, you will vote this way on this bill.
What in the fuck? Look up the net worth of suburbs in the map of the US, and how is it that DC has a net worth of an average of $216,000 a year? And then the next fucking zip code that makes the most is 90,000 average. And that's in fucking New York. Make that fucking shit make sense. You're not public servants. You're fucking leeches on our corporate society. There are few that are doing the God's work, but like there's the majority of just fucking lizards and snakes that are just extracting all of the money for their own fucking pockets, and I'm so fucking sick of it. God bless people like Jasmine Crockett is the only fucking person I can think of that is like,
looks like it's misinformation, but it might also just be because it was 3 or 4 years out of date.
2021. I can't even imagine that. Oh fuck.
But it basically, the claim is that New York has somehow fallen by 2 million down to 70,000. So my assumption is it's actually this per capita over here to the right.
Sure.
In which case, Midland, Texas, San Jose, Sunnyvale, Santa Clara.
Not surprised.
San Francisco, Seattle, Tacoma.
Where is DC?
Right, DC is not even
all
the way down. No, it's right here at 95. Right. It could have jumped up.
So yeah, I'm like, how do we get more information? I'm like, this is so frustrating because I feel like when we're getting
New York, it says New York lost 10K of value. It says Washington D.C. doubled to 200. No idea what happened to Midland or San Jose or San Francisco, but they all fell below 90. Same with Tacoma, same with Princeton, same with Boston, same with Bridgeport, same with New York, same with Boulder. So I don't know how accurate that is, but at the same time, it could make sense. It could. It doesn't fully make sense.
Metro area GDP.
I don't know how volatile this is. I would have to see this charted over like the whole historical history of it. So, anyways, we can get into this
welcome to the land of misinformation. And
I really don't think it was misinformation.
I agree with you. I just like, why don't we have more recent information? Go ahead.
It makes sense to me that GDP might inflate in business-heavy cities when there are conservative administrations in play, and that when democratic institutions are at play, it would be more Democrat-heavy cities and or the nation's capital where you'd see the money flowing. That to me seems like it makes sense, because if you just look like the type of organizations that the two groups are generally aligned with, the blue party is often aligned with nonprofit type organizations, whereas the red party is often aligned with
corporate.
But when you both corporate interests play both sides.
Right.
So like the reality is corporate's on their own team.
So for profit versus nonprofit, that's what I should be saying.
I would say the long tail of industry, the Mr. Pillow guy, those are private companies, but they're large companies that are a huge part of the GDP that make up America. And mostly those other cities.
My Pillow guy? Is that who you're talking about?
Yeah. Did I say Mr. Pillow guy? Yeah, My Pillow guy.
Okay.
I don't fucking know these people.
No, I didn't.
I don't watch boomer television.
My brain fucking hurts trying to think about the very few large privately owned companies. I think Bob Mills is the other one that I know of that he basically. No, he gave his equity shares to his employees, which
ESOP,
exactly, which I fucking love program. That. Yes, for everybody else, we've talked about ESOPs before.
Call that.
But I'm pretty sure it's still privately owned for the individuals that are working there, which is fucking cool.
They could have also sold off a portion of the company publicly. An ESOP can own a portion of shares, or a majority, or it can also own a minority.
Bob recently passed within the last decade or so, and so that's where his shares got
distribute it
to his employees, not to a public corporation, which
So
we love.
I'm just saying sometimes ESOPs vote to choose to sell off a portion of their shares to the public in order to go public to raise additional funds and to increase awareness about their business.
That makes sense.
So,
well, fuck. Should we get into this? This has been I feel like this has been the most like upfront conversation where it's not been recommendations, but us just offloading.
We didn't offload anything. Other than the fact that the DoD is a non-transparent black box that has failed every audit it's been put through. And I'm sick of that giant sinkhole of dollars being consistently justified. That's it.
It's really
cut it. Just fucking gut it. Okay. A conversation about Carol K. Am I Alex or am I Jordan?
Who would you like to be? Alex. I'll be Alex because I'll be Alex Cornishelli. You can be Michael Jordan.
I can be.
You can be Jordan, whoever you want to be, but I'm just like, that's who first came up to my brain. And
okay.
Cool. Hey Jordan, I was listening to some Beach Boys tracks yesterday and fell down a rabbit hole reading about session musicians. Have you ever heard of Carol K?
Carol K, absolutely. She's one of the most influential bassists most people have never heard of. I don't know about him, but that is exactly some trivia I would know.
Truly.
Part of the famous Wrecking Crew, session musicians in LA, right?
Yeah, that's her. I was blown away reading about how many iconic bass lines she's played. Good Vibrations, California Girls, the Mission Impossible theme. Yo, that's so fucking cool. Did I write that down there? She was everywhere in the 60s and the 70s.
It's incredible. What I find fascinating is that she didn't even start as a bassist. She was a jazz guitarist first, then got called to fill in on bass for a session when someone didn't show up.
No fucking way. I actually did know that, but like, she just picked up the bass and became one of the most recorded bassists in history. That is wild.
Pretty much. She had the guitar background, so she approached bass differently than many players at the time. Instead of just playing root notes, she created these melodic, punctual lines that became hooks in themselves.
That's so fucking rad. Oh my god, what a baddie. I need to know, like, I need to hear it, like, because I can, like, hear it in my soul, but, like, it's not. Oops.
What? Trying to get back to it?
There we go.
Okay. That makes sense. I read she played on something like...
You want to be Alex, too?
No, pretty much. She had the guitar background, so, oh, yeah, it's your turn.
Right. Okay, so the hooks and the lines, yeah, that makes sense. I read that she played something like 10,000 recordings. I was gonna say 1,000, so 10,000 recordings. That can't even be right, can it?
The numbers vary depending on the source, but it's definitely in the thousands. She worked constantly, sometimes doing 3 or 4 sessions a day. Think about all those Phil Spector records, Beach Boy albums, Motown hits that were recorded in LA.
Wild. And she was often the only woman in the room, right? Like, it couldn't have been easy breaking into that scene in the early 60s.
Exactly. She's talked about that in interviews, how she had to be twice as good and completely professional at all times. But the other musicians respected her because she was delivered constantly great work. Her technique was impeccable.
Classic story of a bad bitch having to be the perfectionist in order to just be seen and respected by the parties that
this is what most people in DEI positions are often saying in general.
1,000,000%.
It's like, I already had to be more than qualified to be in this role. And, you know, it's like legacy hiring has more to do with, do we get along? And do we get along often excludes people from other identity groups that are historically not the group in power. And we all know who historically the group in power has been. So that's basically the resistance that DEI was being leveraged to overcome, arguably in an unconstitutional way. I wouldn't support the use of taxpayer dollars in any way. So that's my personal stance. But I think the spirit behind it isn't wrong. And I think that if you listen to the people often in those roles, they're more than qualified compared to their peers and often not listened to.
And it's really bad. So it's like, I don't know.
It's just that. So, and then people give up after not being listened to for a while.
Yeah, they end up just
natural.
doing their own thing, and I totally understand it.
You can only scream into the void for so long.
It's really fucking that before you're just like, I will end up murdering everyone.
Yeah. I find a weird joy in it, so I'm like, I'm the odd man out here, but you know, I love screaming into the void. It's cathartic.
Because as a white man, you're generally hurt.
Yeah.
And so I think that's where you're just like,
that's why it is cathartic.
Whereas as anyone else in the DEI like database are generally speaking, just speaking to the class A to Z alpha rosips that can't fucking get it through their brain that a human can have a conversation and it doesn't need to flatter anyone other than just have a conversation.
Someone can have a good idea other than you is really the problem.
Yeah, without you feeling inferior.
Yeah.
Being inferior.
If anything, you should be looking to harvest good ideas everywhere you look.
It's like, yes, and make sure you say the yes. Yes, and.
This is my challenge because I'm a no but person, but that's the same as yes and in my mind. But it's because I'm like, how do we make this even better? I love where your head's at. Let's keep going with this. But it's just the type of person. You miss all of those things you say those things in your head and you don't say them out loud. Right. So it's like, yes, I love that. Let's get to the root of that. Yeah, let's build on that. That's my default as a person, and I'm like, you have to learn that that's where I'm coming from at some point because I don't convey it properly. But as the man that's coming from the privilege point, no, you know, the point is I'm listening, I'm working on it, but I'm not perfect, so call me some fucking slack. I'm a jackass at heart, but I am trying. Enjoy that water. It's not water. LOL. Oh, what is it? Celsius water. Okay, I was like, you been drinking on the job, man? No, I'm so jittery because I'm full of caffeine right now. That's it's so a whole packet deep. You're just like getting excited for your pep show. Yeah, I guess I got a pitch today. Got to record a pitch. Playhaus is trying to win a local pitch competition so we can actually have some extra cash in the, vault. Maybe spend it advertising this show and the merch we have for it. So. And for my hopefully my non-tachycardic friends, but my cardiac friendly friends, don't be tacky because I think that fits in all spaces. But you don't want to be tacky also. So. Part of that. Your local cardiologist, if your heart's skipping a beat, you're going too fast. You should probably also reduce your caffeine intake. Yeah, on the Celsius note. Right, to bring it full circle. Oh, shit. I watched a video where she was demonstrating how she played the bass line for the Beat Goes On Sonny and Cher. And, okay, now I need to see this. The way she was muting techniques and played with the rhythmic precision was amazing. So. You're okay. I know. All right, I'll lock in for a 4-minute video. Ah, she's so cute. This is OG. I wonder if they can hear it. I can. I already. Oh, okay, cool. It, but I need to lock in with your phone number. Apparently. Heyo, don't text him. Message him on his work phone, and if necessary, I guess. I'm surprised it's not trusted at this point. It does this every time. Now and then. Mm. Oh my god. those ASICs.
That was her. But these boys are my grandma. She was so excited.
I don't think she would like our stance on the DoD.
Okay, we don't have to always get along in conversation. She was, but she was.
Probably. She's the back here. She understands good money for not it. She has a heart. I would hate to know all that the CIA has done with the government. You know, green light on how to make money.
Graham Gloria will be very disappointed in our U.S. government, and I want you guys to do better. Jasmine Crockett deserves better. We deserve better. Let's make America act
For once.
for once, for all.
Yeah, be the actual beacon on a hill that we think we are.
You've been fucking summoned, you know? Do your fucking due diligence, or get the fuck out and let somebody else do it.
Don't just talk about it, be about it.
Right? Talk about action is manipulation.
Sure.
We see you.
That's why we're watching this.
Yeah. Grandma Pat loves Cher too. Yeah.
Nice.
Love it. Cool. Thanks for sharing, Carol K.
She's an incredible teacher too. We could totally tell by how well she was explaining her process.
Articulating, yeah.
She's written instructional books on bass playing that are still considered essential, even though she's in her 80s now. She's still teaching and sharing her knowledge.
So cool. Okay, I need to pause on that. The fact that like women go through the different like life cycles where we go through like up to basically getting our period and having the ability to create life, but the postmenopausal life I think is such a, it's literally like designed to pass on knowledge. I think that's so fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
Like women's bodies are literally meant to evolve through all three of those different like life cycles. It's like in three different stages, so to speak. And to just fucking degrade women to their wombs is so frustrating when you have biology that just speaks to the complexity of the systems to allow for that information to be passed on through knowledge like this, through life and having children. I don't know. It's just like, it's really fucking annoying to not be seen as a fucking human being.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what that's like, I guess.
But it's so fucking crazy that our bodies literally are like, no, you don't need to create any more life here. You're here to sustain life and put more back into life in like in a different way. That's just okay. So fucking cool. Anyway, that's fucking awesome. You know what I find kind of frustrating though is so many people know the names of famous guitarists from that era, like Jimi Hendrix. But session players like Carol, who shaped the sound of countless hits, remain relatively unknown to the general public.
Totally agree.
Ooh, I wonder if Paul knows Carol K.
We'll have to ask.
We will.
I'm sure he'll love the story if not.
For sure.
The Wrecking Crew in general deserves more recognition. Hal Blaine, Tommy Tedesco. I feel like I've heard of Tommy Tedesco though. Carol Kay. These people created the soundtrack to an entire generation. At least in recent years, there have been some documentaries that have helped to tell their stories.
True. I guess it's just the nature of being a session musician. You're hired to support the artist and not just stand out for yourself. But Carol's bass lines definitely stood out.
They absolutely did. And she brought a musicality to bass playing that influenced how the instrument was used in pop music going forward. For players like Carol, bass was often just functional. She showed that it could be both supportive and melodically interesting.
I need to dig deeper into her discography for sure. Any particular tracks you'd recommend where our bass playing really shines?
You've Lost That Lovin' Feeling by the Righteous Brothers has an iconic bass line. Glenn Campbell's Wichita Lineman and
Ooh.
These Boots Are Made for Walking.
Yes, that's how I fucking know.
Examples too.
Cool.
Oh, she played a bunch of TV things as well. There's obviously Mission Impossible, but also Batman and the Brady Bunch.
That's crazy.
No, Batman.
Yeah,
that's her.
That's iconic.
The OG
that's
Batman, obviously.
fucking iconic. Oh my god. Damn. Definitely. Wait, no. Where am I at? Wait, she played the Batman theme too. That's so cool. I'm gonna listen to those now. Whatever.
New ears now. Definitely do. And if you're interested in learning more about her approach, she has some great instructional videos on YouTube where she breaks down her techniques. She's a wonderful teacher, straightforward and no nonsense, just how we like it.
So fucking cool. I'll check those out too. We already fucking checked out one, so yes, go see more. It's amazing to think that the cultural impact of one artist can have behind the scenes.
Absolutely. Carol Kay is a true pioneer, not just for women in music, but for defining how the electric bass functions in popular music, period. Her legacy is literally woven in the soundtrack of American culture.
God bless you, Carol Kay. It's another baddie for the books. Damn.
Oh, no one has seen us any of the screen stuff. I don't know what stuff we looked up or when we last came over here, but
it's all right. Take our word for it. You just saw our faces basically leaned in a lot further.
Yeah, I hope we got the Carol K video recording on here.
Truly. But, if not, we'll definitely link that in the.
I'm just gonna pop over here for a second and show you this piece.
Check out
the Sonny and Cher combo.
The Zippity Doodah is one of her.
Drums keep pounding a rhythm to the brain. La-da-da-da-dee.
And that's when I noticed, with that beat goes on line, how important the bass line was, that kind of thing. Did a ton of TV shows, MASH, Hawaii Five-0.
That's so fun.
What happened was that the movies were dying by the time that the TV got going, see? But then they started to add the rock and roll and the soul music to movies. I'm the only bass player that I could cut those parts and make up parts, too. They had a film called Duel. They had me do this. The truck gears, I guess, so I'm doing this for hours, I tell people, don't laugh. I got paid a lot more doing that than... People say, well, you're a woman in the studios. Wasn't it hard? And I say, no, I knew that women were out there playing. You heard about this woman playing with that band. There were women that did work with the men, so I never thought of myself as a woman. I mean, I thought that I had to play the guitar and then I had to play the bass. A note doesn't have sex to it, You either play it good or you don't play it good.
So I think we ended on that note.
Bless this baddie. That's exactly right. She said it best. Couldn't have said it better.
All right. Well, that was another episode of Weekly Mojo with your host here, Madison Jessica. Join us next week at some point when we record yet again another episode. This
Hell
time
yeah.
from a new location. Stay tuned.
Oh my God. For the baddies of the bunch and the baddies of the cruise. Can't wait to continue further. Oh my God.